It's Wednesday night. You know what that means. It's
Dynamite.
dynamite. Wait, I'm not Andrew.
No, you're not me. I'm me. You're you. This is the first time in a bit. It's going to happen.
Since we've done dynamite, yeah.
Yeah, we've done Dynamite together. So I said Dynamite, Wednesday Night Dynamite. On today's show, MJF lays out Kyle Fletcher, Mariah May, and Tony Storm further their feud. Right? Britt Baker is coming back from suspension. We'll talk about that one too because we haven't talked about that yet. But first, we're going to start off with Brian Danielson. I got to stop doing that. Versus Jeff Jarrett in a hell of a brawl. So,
Jarrett like turned the clock back to like 2005 TNA.
yeah, Jarrett
Like
really
he
started it
showed
off
out.
nicely.
Jarrett showed out, man.
For a guy who is his age, I don't know how old he is. I think he's in his 50s. I think. I'm not
You
sure about that.
keep talking. I'm gonna look it up.
Um, but he really knows, like, he understands the business still, and how he started this match off by hitting Danielson with the guitar really set the tone of how this match was going to play out. This match was basically an all-out fight the entire time. It started with Jarrett hitting Danielson. With everybody shocked by this. I mean, you shouldn't be shocked by this at this point in this time. It's Jeff Jarrett. He's been known to hit people with guitars historically. Like, he literally stole that from the Honky Tonk Man, and he's been continuing it on. I'm wondering who's going to continue that legacy after he's done.
Broke 1,000 guitars, never drew a dime.
Yep.
Okay,
And
so and
so,
for those that may not get that reference, go watch the Death of WCW DVD that WWE put out like 15 years ago.
uh,
To answer your question, Jeff Jarrett's 57. He just turned 57 last month.
let's go for 57.
Well, yeah, so that's the thing, right? So he's like he showed out in this match. Like this was like I felt like I was, in my bedroom at 14 watching TNA Impact
Yeah.
in 2005. And um honestly, when I first saw that this was the main event, I was like, I don't know how this is gonna go.
Yeah, I kind of thought that
But
too. I kind of thought that too, and they announced it last week. I wasn't too sure how Jared versus Brian Danielson is going to, look. But it turned out quite well. Like, it was but he beat up Danielson.
oh yeah.
Like he pretty much owned that match, most of that match, and there's no way that Danielson would probably like. I mean, Danielson was obviously going to win, but like you didn't like it made you think that he wasn't going to win at all. That's kind of good storytelling right there. It really is.
Oh yeah, Jared had about 80% of the match for
Yeah,
sure. Even Ricky Steamboat brought it up in
yeah,
commentary.
yeah. Ricky, it's nice to see Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. He still looks good for his age too. I know he's like in his 70s.
Getting
Looks
there.
really good for sure. Like it started off with this. They started off with the chair shot, moved to the outside. They fought in the crowd. They beat the shite out of each other. Moved back to the ring. Eventually, Jansen ends up winning uh, by hitting him with that. I can't remember what it's called.
The psycho knee, but he
Psycho
put a
knee.
chair in front of his knee to make sure.
Yeah,
And this seemed to have cut Jeff below the chin.
yeah. That's what it looks like there.
Um, and they were wondering where the blood came from. And,
Yeah,
I believe Taz or Excalibur mentioned, Danielson used the chair with the psycho knee.
yeah.
After
Um,
this, Swerve Strickland comes out.
Swerve
After,
Strickland and me right now. I don't know. He's in that middle part right now. He's towing that line between heel and face. He really is.
yeah,
He's really towing
absolutely.
that line right now because it's hard to pick to see who is going to be like you tell Swerve they want Swerve to be the heel in this feud, but it's hard not to like Swerve Strickland right now, considering everything he's done, the matches he puts on, his charisma, his standard promos, his promos that he puts on. Like he makes you believe that he's literally going to end Brian Danielson's career
Well, so
legitimately.
So here's the thing, like I've made it pretty well known on this channel,
Yeah,
this show, like I'm very high on Swerve Strickland,
yeah.
and I do genuinely believe that he's one of the best wrestlers in the world.
You know,
Um,
despite what a lot of people think of AEW Dynamite right now, or AEW Dynamite in general, um, it's hard to argue the talent that is on that show and how good a lot of those people are. It
through the
really
fucking
is.
roof,
Like it's hard to
through
sit
the
there and
roof.
not. I mean, we talk about the best. Everybody talks about the best in the world. You got Drew McIntyre who calls himself the best in the world now because he beats CM Punk. CM Punk does it. But if you look at the Jimmy right now, who some of the best wrestlers in the world are, it's hard to argue that a lot of them aren't in AEW.
My top five right now, I would say probably three or four of them are either in Japan or AEW.
Yeah,
So like I still think Osprey's the best in the world.
I think Osprey right now is probably the consensus 1, 2.
I would put I would
It's
put probably Rollins at the two.
okay.
Uh I'd put MJF at three. I mean, I know he's back to being a slimy bastard, but I'll put
Doesn't matter.
MJF at three. Then I'd still put Okada at probably four and Roman at five.
Well, you put Roman at 5 now. I was,
Well,
I
I mean,
was
he
worried about
hasn't.
that. He hasn't wrestled much at all this year.
Yeah, so that's the
Oh,
thing. Like in terms of an actual like character and big match wrestler, like
yeah,
there's nobody better than Roman Reigns. But
yeah,
when we're looking at week to week,
yeah,
those would probably be my five guys.
yeah. And speaking of best in the world that you mentioned too, you mentioned MJF. MJF with versus Kyle Fletcher this week was a hell of a start off to AEW Dynamite.
So I missed the first 5 minutes of this match. I
That's
tuned
fair.
in late, but
Yep.
um
It was a long match, so you had time to kind of get in and get your popcorn and all
exactly.
that
I
stuff.
I
So
was able I
it was
was able
good.
to settle in.
Yeah.
I I was setting something up in the backyard. I had
Yeah.
it on the background, but I was checking it. And you know what, Kyle Fletcher, so like I've been paying attention to Kyle Fletcher since they were doing the trios thing with like the trios inaugural trios tournament.
Yeah, with Aussie Open
Um it
with
was
Osprey.
Osprey and Aussie Open,
Yeah.
yeah, against the Elite.
Mhm.
That was the first time I ever saw Kyle Fletcher.
Yeah. Because he's been in
And
New
then I
Japan for most of the time.
and then I know his partner got hurt.
Yeah, I think that's why he's doing more of the single run here. And to be honest, he's pretty being successful at it. I
But
don't
what I
see that
noticed,
lasting much longer.
so sorry, I keep jumping in here, but
I don't know.
um like this is the first episode of Dynamite I've watched in its entirety
Yep.
since Blood and Guts last year.
Really? Been that long?
Yeah, I've been doing my best to keep up through clips and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
um so Kyle Fletcher, I feel like with this like being involved in this feud with Osprey and MJF,
Yeah.
I can very much see Kyle Fletcher also pulling away from the Don Callis family.
I think that's the eventual plan. Family's getting pretty big, I guess, for the most part. He's got Roosh right now. We'll talk about Roosh in a bit, along with the Beast Morta, which is also in the Cal's family, and we'll talk about him
I'm
as
gonna
well.
ask you about that when we get to that six-man
We
tag, but
will. But I want to like one thing I want to say though too, like we mentioned best in the world, right? We said MJF. You know what makes really the best in the world right now? When you really think about, when you sit down and really think about it. And we
when
mentioned
he's
MJ.
when he's ripping off a Kevin Owens gimmick from fucking 8 years ago.
No, but what I mean by that is a best in the world kind of wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
If you look what MJF did tonight in that match,
Mm-hmm.
he made Kyle Fletcher look very, very good. Sure, he beat the living snot at him at the end and
But
really
and it's but at the same time, it's not like Kyle Fletcher's any show
no,
like
he's not, but
any
he's not, but it helps him elevate someone
it okay,
over him.
so now you're speaking my language. Yes,
Yeah,
this match elevated this whole feud has elevated Kyle Fletcher.
yes, absolutely has.
Um he's
Like
not
he,
going to be he's probably not going to be like a main event player for probably another few years.
I think it's gonna be a little
But
bit of time. I think you need to have that Kyle Fletcher Osprey match before that to really happen.
well, so that's the thing. I would not be surprised if Osprey gets the title back.
Yeah,
or this is where you have Fletcher turn on Osprey and then he stays with the Don Callis family in that scenario.
I can see that happening. I think that's probably right now the smarter move for Kyle Fletcher. I don't think Kyle Fletcher can go on his own, single out the Don Callis family. I think he kind of needs it. He's not Osprey. They call him. He hates MJF calls him the will wannabe Will Osprey. Um, I mean, it's kind
I
of hard
mean,
not to. He kind of
there's a
looks like him.
couple of
There's
guys
similarities.
there's a couple guys you can put into that category.
Absolutely.
I mean, Osprey is basically an evolution of Ricochet.
Yeah.
Okay. So from Osprey, you have Kyle Fletcher, you have Callum Newman, who's over in New Japan, which very quickly for our New Japan fans out there, tune in on Saturday morning with our SmackDown review,
Yep.
and I will have an update on the G1.
Nice.
Because I've had some time off this week, so I'm gonna try and watch some of the highlight matches. But that all being said, um, I like that small detail of Osprey being trapped in that room,
Yeah.
which is why he wasn't able to get out in
Mhm.
time to save Kyle Fletcher.
And I like how right before Osprey did come out to attack, to go after MJF. I like how MJF teased the fact that Ospreys are too afraid to use the Tiger Driver.
Well, that's been the story for
It's
a
been sort
while
for a
since
while, but he
since
started
he
trying to
hurt
use it. He started trying
since
to
he
use it.
hurt Danielson at
Yeah,
Revolution, right?
yeah.
Or was
He's
it Dynasty?
Dynasty,
Okay.
and he was going to use that Tiger Driver on him to
Yeah,
hurt thing. So I really like the small details there. I like how I think Osprey is going to use that Tiger Driver at All In. I have a feeling he's going to use that. I mean, he has no reason not to.
you're right.
Um,
And
but
I feel like if he uses that move,
mhm,
he wins the title back.
I think so too. I think that's the direction they're going to go with Osprey and MJF. Although it's kind of hard to want to take the title off MJF, but they did change the title to the American title.
Yeah,
It's kind of a mockery
and
of it.
I like how he changed his entrance music.
Yeah,
I said Kevin Owens in like 2016, but like,
Face of America.
yeah, Face of America, Kevin
Yeah,
Owens
yeah.
when he was US champ.
I
But
didn't I did not like that Kevin Owens. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was not a fan of that Kevin
so
Owens. I love KO.
I akin this version of MJF to like early JBL,
Okay, like like
early JBL, like before he wins the title,
okay, all right. So he's
before
like
he beats Eddie Guerrero. Like I'm
more
talking
just
mid 2004
so like just basically
JBL.
like stock market JBL and sells
Well,
made
that's what it
millions
eventually
JBL.
turned into.
Yeah,
But before that, he was like this true American patriot and
yeah.
blah, 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 blah.
Mm. So
And
US title JBL when he lost to John Cena.
no,
Okay,
because, anyways, I think
all
you're
right.
getting your things mixed up.
I
But
might be possibility. It's a lot of wrestling over the
uh,
years.
yeah,
So
yeah. And I'm not going to drive our viewers on a meaningless rant about
no,
how
absolutely not.
to correct you, but
No reason to do it.
that's okay.
Comment down below, folks, if you think I'm a lunatic at times.
Yeah, please tell us how wrong we are.
Yeah, please. It's kind of fun, actually. Uh, Moving on. What do you think of Mariah May? I mean, she obviously faced a
So
jobber tonight.
this is, I'll be honest, this is probably the feud I've been following the most.
I am in love with Mariah May. I'm telling you, that girl is. I am a fan. I like the whole character. Right, I like how she looks, and I'm still convinced she's going to take that title off Tony Storm. I mean, I could be very,
Oh,
very much wrong.
oh no. This is how this ends for sure. And so this brings up my next point of
Sure.
this is the first time I've tuned in a long time.
Yeah.
Um, All In is 18 days away.
Mm-hmm.
We still have two more dynamites.
Yeah.
And if you look at the pull apart between Mariah May and Tony Storm,
Yeah, absolutely.
you look at the very serious angle that they put out between MJF and Osprey.
Hmm.
I feel like these feuds are peaking just a tad too early. Because
Okay,
if All In was this Saturday,
it makes sense, right?
I'd be like, okay, like I want to see this match like right now.
Well, to be honest with you, Tony Storm's been kind of attacking Mariah May almost every week now, or making an appearance at Mariah May at some point every single week since Mariah May beat the living hell out of her on live TV. So yeah, Mariah May, like I said, I like this character. They've been feuding now the whole time. Tony Storm comes out almost every week. Like what I like about this one too, this time is that Tony Storm comes out, but first before she comes out, she gets Mariah May gets a gift, and she's looking at it like, "Oh, it's not my birthday." That was like a week ago. No, it's not Christmas. Comes out, and it's just like opens up, has a lovely picture of Mariah May being coddled by Tony Storm, and behind that picture it said, "Die, Mariah, die." See where this is going.
Yep.
I called it a couple weeks ago. It's going to be a Psycho versus Psycho match. I'm looking forward to it. And then Tony Storm comes out
One's
and just starts
one's
brawling.
delusional enough to believe that she's a 50 starlet.
I think 1920s, but I understand where you're going with this.
Yeah. Okay. Well, because when I look at timeless Tony Storm,
Yeah.
it reminds me a lot of Marilyn Monroe, which was like
Okay. Yeah.
50s, 60s,
Okay.
right? So that's why I say 50 starlet.
See, when I look at it too, I see the Marilyn Monroe thing, which I think is kind of what some basis on, but I think of it more as like in the 1920s, 1930s. You ever play
Like
the game?
silent film era.
You ever play the game LA Noir?
Yep.
That
That
era.
was done in the 40s.
Yeah, okay, so 40s. That's kind of like
Yeah.
the era. That's kind of the era I'm looking into. But I mean,
Yeah.
I think we're both kind of right. I don't know. It doesn't have really a specific. They never specify what it's kind of based on. You probably have to ask Tony Storm
You
that.
can't just name drop LA Noir and not have a quick discussion about it.
It's an awesome game.
Okay. What an awesome one-off by Rockstar.
Yeah, it was like
Like
here's a game
uh
in between like Grand Theft Auto.
it
Literally
was
what it
like
was.
so it was kind of released in between Grand Theft Auto 4,
And five.
Red Dead Redemption, and then
No.
what would be Grand Theft Auto 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
It was like this really weird period for Rockstar,
Yeah.
and they dropped this out of fucking nowhere, 1930s, 40s Los Angeles, and you investigate crimes and shit.
Yeah.
Fuck
It's
yeah.
it was a really good game. I still have it for the three.
And
So I kind of might pull up the
I've
three, play it.
I've thought of buying it just to play it on the 4,
Yeah, it's a lot of
but
fun. It actually is. It's a long game, but it's a lot of fun.
because they've updated like when they released it on the 4 and 5, they updated the graphics a little bit.
Yeah,
And it was already a stunning game for its time.
absolutely was.
Um my only like so also like I love the Mafia games too, which take place in that same time period.
Yeah,
So, that was right up my alley. Um Ellie Noir, man, took me back.
yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome. I did that for you. We're over from one women's though. Let's go to the other women's now. Mercedes Monet comes out with Camille
Camille
and
killed two nobodies.
two ways.
Mercedes started running her mouth.
Yep. Now, if you guys I already explained to it last year, we're just giving it a little bit of reiterate. Camille was basically is she's been on AEW before. This is her second match officially on AEW.
Former
Um,
NWA Women's Champion, from what I
absolutely.
understand.
Yep, in the NWA, which is run by Billy Corgan, Smashing Pumpkins, the lead singer and forefront man. Uh, I kind of like this Camille. I do see where this is going. I kind of see where it's going. But yeah, Mercedes Monet comes out, shoots her mouth off. And let's bring us now to the Britt Baker situation. Now, they said that Britt Baker was suspended due to the whole attack on Mercedes Monet. Word is
And
though,
she said that her EVP
yeah,
Um, but that prompted Tony Schiavone
Yeah,
to get Mercedes' attention and inform her that Christopher Daniels and Tony Khan
yeah,
have overridden the EVPs,
yeah,
and Britt's suspension is now up.
yeah.
Britt cuts a promo,
Oh, this gets interesting because
but you know what? It's not even that. It's like, I think probably my personal biggest criticism
okay,
of AEW,
all right,
okay, is that, you know, they try too hard with these like
references.
kind of work shoot
Yeah,
references.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
it's like, so this one was like, whenever things get tough, Mercedes, takes her ball and goes home,
It's basically
referring
it's referring to the time she
referring to
walked
her
out.
walking, yeah, referring
Yeah,
to her walking out in WWE.
yeah. I don't know how. I'm sure it was discussed ahead of time. They could say that,
No, of course.
but
Always assume everything's discussed ahead of time.
absolutely. Uh, but watching this occur, and I don't see. I mentioned this off air. We're talking about right now, really quickly. I don't see Britt Baker winning this title right now. I used to think it was, but seeing Camille the past 2 weeks and seeing what Camille is, it gives me the thought that I could be completely wrong at all. I
Hmm.
could be 100% wrong at
Hmm.
all.
Hmm.
But I feel almost that Britt's not going to win that title at all in, and it's gonna go on to Camille somewhere down the line. It's not going to happen yet. It's going to happen maybe in a few months or a year.
Right.
But something's gonna. I think they want to build Camille up to the point where it's very similar to what they did with Wardlow, but not screw this one up. If that makes any more sense.
Okay. I haven't been on a Dynamite review in a while,
Yeah,
so I'm glad you brought that up
sure,
because that'll segue into the six man.
sure.
Okay. So speaking of Wardlow, you had all the fucking potential in the world to make this guy the next Dave Batista.
Yeah, they really did.
You know, they executed the babyface turn perfectly
Yeah,
with MJF.
yeah,
And they fucking failed him.
yeah, they did.
And the thing is now I have to ask you
Sure.
is if Don Callis is with the fucking bullhorn guy and Roosh,
Okay.
what the fuck is Roderick Strong doing
Okay.
a
So
part of that
Rod.
team?
So yeah, they have the Undisputed
And
Kingdom.
is Wardlow still with Undisputed Kingdom?
So right now, the Undisputed Kingdom seems to be just there. Um, there were a lot of stuff going on with Cole right now. They don't know when Cole's going to be able to come back, so they've
I've heard
kind of
his
put
ankle is even worse
yeah, they've
than
kind of put that
believed.
on ice by the looks of it for the time being. You still have Taven there and Bennett, but they haven't really done much. Like they're more focused on Ring of Honor by the looks of it. So we don't really know. I haven't seen Wardlow in a number of weeks, to be honest with you, so I couldn't tell you what's going on with Wardlow. He could be hurt. He could be a lot of things. They could have nothing for him. Could be contract slowly ran out and nobody knows where he is. I mean, it's one of those things right now where it's almost like it's just disappeared for the time being. Um,
I will say this.
yeah.
If AEW ever lets Wardlow go to WWE,
Oh,
it'll
he'll be.
be a massive mistake.
Oh, they'll strap a rocket to Wardlow. Well, maybe.
Well, no, I truly believe this is one of those AEW to WWE signings that aren't going to be just
Well, to be honest, with you, who?
there.
Well, to be honest, with you, there's a lot of people that talk right now, just to get not to get away from Dynamite, but there's a lot of people talk right now of a certain other individual who's very good friends with a certain WWE champion who might be coming very soon after his contract runs out.
Are
That's
you
also
talking Ricky
I thought
Starks?
of Ricky Starks. Is that
Okay.
right? Now I know I'm pretty sure Wardlow knows Cody very well as well because he's been around with Cody from the get go.
But
Okay.
I don't know if you read today, the Lucha Brothers are talking to WWE too.
Lucha Brothers are currently contracts coming to an end. That contract should be up very, very soon, if not um, now. They have been talking apparently to WWE as a precaution there. I don't know if we're going to see the Lucha Brothers in WWE. I don't know if that's what they're going to do. I don't know where you would put the Lucha Brothers in WWE. I'll be damned if you're going to put them in the LWO.
No, they're not
I'll
going to
be
just
damned if they
throw
do
them in
that.
there because you know what? I think they could use a fresh tag team. So you know how they just got the Gorillas of Destiny
Yep.
and Jacob Fatu on
Yep.
SmackDown
Yep. Absolutely.
of the last few months, right?
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. And it's been
Throw the Lucha
fantastic.
Brothers on, throw the Lucha Brothers on Raw.
Yeah, you do that.
Have them go head to head with, Jay and Sammy and the Judgment Day and
Yeah.
I was about to say Alpha Academy, but American Made,
The Creed
you know,
Brothers. Yeah, you can do
what
that.
whatever whatever combination you can think of the Wyatt Six.
You know what? You think about it now, you put it that way. I'm kind of actually into that.
Awesome truth.
I kind of into that. Even if you do the whole um zero, what's it called? What the hell? Penta El
Zero Miedo.
Cielo, yeah, Morta. That he does. Like we did the evil death one.
Oh, Oscolo.
Yeah, Skolo, that's it, right? You could do that one with Penta for sure, and especially against someone like the Wyatts. So that'd be like
Yeah,
actually when you think about it, that'd be a lot of fun.
I honestly like. And I mean, another quick side note, I guess. Have
Yeah,
you come across the WWE Vault channel
not yet,
on YouTube?
not yet.
You need to look it up like
Okay,
ASAP
the Vault,
because
the Vault channel.
WWE Vault,
Okay,
it is actually sponsored, but like it is WWE,
yep.
but they like will throw out the most random shit you can think of.
Okay,
Um, and I saw someone today like petitioning for them to release the Young Bucks versus the Usos, which was the Young Bucks WWE tryout match
oh,
from
cool.
like 10 years ago.
That'd be interesting. Uh, speaking of the, since we're talking about Lucha Brothers, moving
Hmm?
it with that six man. So we had basically almost like a rematch of last week's match, except this time it was slightly different. And so instead of it being Orange Cassidy with Mark Briscoe, and guy, that person escapes my
Who
name
else
right
is in
now,
the conglomerate?
Kyle O'Reilly
Right.
and someone else. Yeah, I think it was Kyle O'Reilly. Okay? Last week against Beast Morta, Roosh,
And
and
Roddy.
and Roddy. This week you got Orange Cassidy along with North Carolina's own FTR, who came out with their regular music, but slightly a throwback and tribute to the Hart Foundation. You see
So,
FTR, Dax Harwood wearing them, the Bret Hart glasses was kind of a nice touch. And they're getting way more and more 80s.
so they need to stop trying to be the Hart Foundation and be what they actually are, which is the modern day brainbusters.
Okay,
Okay.
fair enough.
These guys are Arn and Tully like reincarnated.
Yeah, they the first time I saw FTR, or so I say the revival, because that's where they were in NXT. They reminded me of the Brainbusters of Arn and Tully,
Yeah,
or
Arn and
early,
Tully.
early four, early four Horsemen's tag team. If you want to go even that way, if you want to throw Ollie in there, go ahead.
Right. So uh, I mean, so like I told you, like this is kind of where I had to go take care of something. But
Yeah,
um, what I do know is there was a ton of travel issues with this show.
yeah,
I know MJF was kind of live tweeting yesterday that he was driving 10 and a half hours from his
yeah.
house
Mm-hmm.
in Long Island to get to this Carolina show.
That's a lot of hours.
Um, but a ton of flights canceled this week, a
Yeah.
ton of travel issues. So
Mm-hmm.
That's why FTR stepped in to help out Orange Cassidy
Yep.
in this match.
Which, to be honest, I kind of
Um,
liked it. It kind of furthered the whole acclaim feud they're having right now.
okay.
So that's kind of where they've been calling out FTR for a while. Hence why they came out after the match after FTR won first thing. Now Rush ate the pin this week. Last week, Beast Morta pinned Mark Briscoe, the ROH champion.
Okay.
So I'm wondering like why they almost kind of 50-50 booked it. It's probably basically because of FTR was
It's
there or
probably, I
something.
will be honest, it's probably because the travel issues and the
Yeah,
fact FTR was in the match.
fair enough.
Um, Also on that point, Team AEW won Blood and Guts, right?
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. After Darby Allen, who we got a promo from earlier in the night about almost
Can
set
I
up.
finish my question before we get into that?
Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
You would think the Acclaimed are going after the Young Bucks for the tag titles, right?
You think so? Yeah, they should be. But they've also been kind of like a semi pseudo feud with FTR because FTR says they're the best team, and Max Caster actually he's the best wrestler in the world, and
Who was the five for Team AEW? It was what,
it,
Swerve? It
it
was
was
the
Swerve,
Acclaimed.
it was
It
the
was
acclaimed
Darby.
Darby, and it was Swerve, the acclaimed, it was Darby, and it was oh geez, now I completely forgot. Mark Briscoe.
Oh, okay. All
By the way,
right.
do you ever go back and take a look at that match? You really should. It's a hell of a fun match.
I'll do my
Violent as
best.
hell. Violent as
Listen,
hell.
TSN's on demand stuff is not that great.
Fair enough. But it's violent as hell. Probably the most violent matches I've seen. I have all the blood and guts they've done. Probably the most violent. I mean, they
Oh, I
almost
know. Like I know how it ended. Like
they threatened
Darby
to
Allin was gonna
set
burn
up a blaze.
fucking. Well, it wouldn't be the first time it's happened to
No,
fucking Jack
no.
Perry in the last couple of months.
Yeah, speak Jack Perry had a little bit of a promo earlier the night, which was followed by
I like that.
yeah, it was a really good. He should kind of show
But
the old TNT
I like
champions.
Darby's promo even more.
Yeah, Darby basically just said, I need you to show up." So it's
Well he said basically like you don't have to show up until All In, but the
yeah,
important part is that you have to show up at All In.
yeah,
And so that being said, it was like, okay, like I don't care that you're not here. See,
yeah.
this is a feud that hasn't peaked too early because you had
No,
Blood and Guts last week, right?
yeah, exactly. They kind of
So
more or less started it.
so now you're probably going to get a promo between the two either next week or the go home
Yeah,
that'll, kind of put that at its peak.
yeah.
But some of these other feuds, like we've been talking about throughout this show, I think they peaked too early.
We have 2 weeks to find out if this is true.
It's not even like we have 2 weeks to find out. I'm just saying, like as a casual consumer of AEW,
Okay.
I'm interested in seeing Swerve and Danielson, MJF and Osprey,
Yeah.
and Mariah May and Tony Storm. I'm
I
interested in seeing those three matches if it was this weekend.
I'm interested in seeing. I'll throw a fourth one. I want to see the Britt Baker versus
But I
Mercedes
don't
Monet match.
but I don't know what my interest level is going to be like if I have to wait 2 more weeks for this.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Given what they're like, I'm just basing it off of what they're giving me on TV.
Okay, that's fair.
It's especially that Mariah made Tony Storm feud.
Yeah.
They escalated that too quickly, too soon.
Yeah, to be honest, I kind of
Tony
thought they
Storm
brought
came
Tony
back.
Storm back too fast.
Thank you.
Yeah, came back a little too
That's
fast.
that's exactly what I was thinking.
I was thinking she should have came back like now.
Actually, yeah, her coming back this week after Mariah May destroyed whoever that
Yeah,
was, Viva something.
yeah. Like what they could have done was they could have sent like Tony Storm sending off little things to her as reminders, and
Yes.
then do the die think die Mariah die, and then Tony Storm attacks.
Right, exactly. And then you have Tony gets the upper hand. But
Yeah.
since they've been going back and forth since the attack,
Mm.
like it's it's like that match has already peaked for me.
Yeah.
So like this is like where this is where, like I said, like this is like my only criticism with AEW.
Fair enough.
Everything else about AEW, I love.
We got one more match to go over tonight and one interview. Let's do the interview first. Uh,
Swerve with JR.
Swear JR. Not to crap on JR. JR was kind of the voice of my 90s, but I think JR needs to maybe step away. I know his health problems are they're very
Let's
evident at this
let's
point.
raise a glass to JR.
I think JR maybe needs to step away at this point. The interview it's not has nothing to do with the interview, but I like see his health issues have definitely shown a lot. But good swerve promo, good swerve interview. Anyway, last match tonight, Brian Keith, the bad apple of the
Yes, we had
night
my boy Shibata.
versus Shibata with Chris Jericho on commentary.
It's always a good night when I get to see a Shibata match.
Shibata was a hell of a good. He was on par tonight.
Andrew, you know me a long time, and ever since
Yeah, you love talking about Shibata.
since before Forbidden Door last year
Yeah.
that we got to witness, I've been telling you about Shibata,
Yep.
and I'm so excited that this guy's been able to have a second career.
Yeah.
Um,
Fun match with him and Brian Keith. He ended up winning the match. Um, with a lot of
Keith
technical
ended up
moves.
winning. I must have
No,
missed the
no,
end of this
Shibata
match.
won. Shibata
Okay,
won.
good.
Which brought
TK,
in,
right?
yeah, which one? Yeah, which caused Jericho and the Redwood to come on down and attack him, which kind of was the precursor to the return of Hook. After being out, Quick Hook was still
Yes,
selling the
I
eye
did. I
injury.
did see that.
Yeah.
Yes, he was selling the fireball to the face.
Yes, he was selling the fireball to the face, which means probably Joe's gonna
I
come back
like
most likely soon.
I like the minor touch here of having security remove Taz from the commentary booth just
Yes,
for that match.
yeah, they've been doing it all like almost every week now since Jericho basically took out Hook
Okay.
because of Taz's relationship with Hook.
Yeah, of course. Of course, that makes sense.
Yeah,
And so it's funny, I got to kind of reminisce about Shibata
yeah,
a bit this week. Our friend Corey that we had on
yeah,
a number of months back,
yes.
uh, he is watching the G1,
Okay,
and he's been keeping me updated, like some matches to watch and stuff like that.
yeah,
And he asked me about some early stuff to watch
yeah,
from New Japan, like back when I was like really heavy into it.
yes,
Shibata Okada is one of the from Sakura Genesis 2017.
yeah.
It is the match that put Shibata on the shelf for 5 years.
Okay.
But Shibata versus Okada is one of the greatest wrestling matches you will ever see in your life. I guarantee it. Um,
Speaking of Okada, next week on the AEW Dynamite, you're getting Okada versus Claudio Castagnoli for the
yeah,
international title, I believe it is. Yeah, or what's the title called
the
again?
the
Continental title.
Continental
That's it.
Gym.
The Continental title.
So no, it's not for the title. It's they're
Face to
doing a
face.
face to face, and
Okay.
I guess that match is at Wembley
Okay. Which I'm actually okay with that.
because Claudio won a three-way on Collision last week
He did.
between himself, Lee
Yeah.
Moriarty, and Tomohiro Ishii.
Also announced as
Um,
well, with a special guest referee or enforcer of the Christian. It will be the House of Black versus the Bang Bang Gang for a chance to face the patriarchy at All In
for the trios titles.
for the trios titles.
So that's next week.
Yeah, I feel that's either going to be
Hmm.
like a not like either all three teams or it's going to be probably the Bang Bang
So
Gang.
Wednesday's my day off for the next little while.
Sure.
So maybe I'll try to make it a habit. I
Yeah,
can't promise I'll be on every week to do Dynamite with you,
absolutely.
but I will make a concerted effort to
Yeah,
check in.
it's a lot of fun. But Dynamite's a lot of fun, guys.
You know
Uh,
what? I listen to you.
yep.
I'm the one that uploads it. So
Yeah.
I listen to you And it sounds like Dynamite's been really good
It
from
has
what I
been.
see on the internet
Yeah.
or what on socials. It's been really good lately. Um, yeah, so for my first full episode since last year,
Yep.
I'll give it like a eight, 8 out of 10,
It was
eight
about
and a
an eight.
half.
It was an 8 out of 10 for me, I think. Other than 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think 8.5. Like, I think it again, like it literally just serves into my only complaint about AEW, but it doesn't ruin it enough where I'm gonna sit here and shit on it.
Fair enough.
Um, so that all being said, hey, this is where I get to do my outro.
Before you do that, though, guys, make sure you like the content here. Right, make sure you like, share, subscribe down below here. Up at the top there, you'll see some cards there that come about usually earlier on in the show. Take a look at that. There's a little extra content there. Take a look at that, son. Have some fun with it. Remember,
I have
make
a
sure you like, share,
challenge for our
subscribe, and
viewers
follow.
on YouTube.
Sure.
If you made it this far in the video, for every like on the video, I'll take a shot on
Fair enough.
camera during an episode.
Oh, here we fun. Get drunk. Get Dougie drunk on live on TV. Why the hell not? That is basically AEW Dynamite, folks. Doug, since you're here, might as well take us out of here because you're much better at that. Remember that stuff I do because I'm usually fairly quick about it.
No problem. Uh, Join us on Saturday morning when I upload our SmackDown review featuring the return
The ones in the
of
air.
the tribal chief,
Oh, that's gonna be a
the
fun
the
episode.
the one true tribal chief,
That's gonna be a
Roman
fun
Reigns, will
episode.
be on SmackDown this Friday. I can't wait.
It's gonna be a fun one.
Um, and uh, then also tune in next Tuesday. We'll break down Raw, and maybe you'll hear me next Thursday morning
Hey, never know.
when we do Dynamite again.
Yeah.
Until then, if you're listening to this on audio, go follow us on YouTube, TA Wrestling Podcast. If this is on video, go follow us on Spotify. Go follow us on Podbean, pretty much anywhere you get your podcasts. And the socials for the channel, DA Sports Podcast on Instagram, DA Sports Pod on Twitter. He is A Purcell 1982 on Instagram, Andrew at DA Sports at TikTok. I'm D Lions 1991 on Twitter, and we'll catch you down the road.
Check out this video down below.